Hey folks, Rant and Fury here with the part 3 of my Polish firearms in my collection. This is the Polish WZ-44 or Polish MN-44, whichever way you prefer it. Made from 1951 to 1955. This one, according to the date on the chamber, is a 1954, so it was towards the last year. The Poles didn't make them for that long, and evidently the Russians didn't trust the Poles that much. Let's see, 3 attempted invasions during the 20th century. The last one finally took. I wonder why. But they had observers in the factories making sure they didn't make to me. I could not find a production number for this rifle, unlike the Polish Tokarev pistol. The Poles did use and import a few of the Simonov SKS carbines, but it was mainly for ceremonial use. I guess they went straight from the 44 to the AK series, the first one being the milled receiver AK style, then the AKM, which is the sheet metal that's folded tight with the welded and trunnion internals. Now, like any Mosin Nagant 44, you have the folding bayonet, which is permanently attached here. And let's see. Takes a little bit of use or force to do it. Sticks out a pretty good ways. Doing the research on these guns, I know from a friend that looked at my rifle one time saying this was probably one of the unissued. The Poles made a lot of these rifles, or the most of the ones they made were put into reserve use. I don't know if it's because they was being throttled back as far as the amount of men in their army until the Russians was actually able to trust them, or they was building a reserve for other Warsaw Pact countries. It's possible some of these may have ended up in Vietnam, though when I asked AI the question, it couldn't give me an answer on that. Give me a second to reposition and show you a few hallmarks. Okay, here you have the Radom 11 in an oval with the date of manufacture, one of the serial numbers, which I've covered up to save my hind end. Open the bolt. It's empty. It's the typical Mosin system, straight stack, uses a stripper clip. There's an interrupter to keep the rounds in the magazine from fouling when you load it up. The sights go up to about 1,000 meters on tangent. The finish of these Polish Mosins, especially the unissued ones, is pretty good. You look at the receiver on the wartime Soviet 44s, you see real rough machining marks all over the place. This is a very smooth, deep finish. The only problem with this gun right now, and that happened under my watch, was my basement flooded and some water got into the gun locker, and before I knew it, part of the rifle butt had rusted up a little bit. Aside from that, this is a pretty pristine rifle. I bought it back in 1999 abouts. It came with a bunch of ammo from a local sporting goods store. It was a mix of a 145 grain silver tip and a 174 grain Illa tip, which was meant more for machine guns, but the bolt actions can handle it, unlike some of the PSLs that was going around. Your typical Mosin multi-piece bolt, which for some reason the Russians are supposed to be a very simple people. They want things soldier proof, but they went with the most ridiculous over-engineered multi-piece bolt there is, instead of like the Mauser style, which technically it is. You've got 2 front lugs, and this piece here on the actual bolt handle acts as a safety lug, so you got 3 locking surfaces on it. The Mosin, when you shoot it, will kick a bit, especially the 174 grain, but it is not the worst kicking rifle in my group. I've got a Hungarian Stutzen model 95 straight pull from Austria-Hungary. That thing fires a 205 grain projectile. I actually had to put a sissy pad on it because it is such a abusive to handle it. The Polish Nagants, you get them in good condition like this, they will last you a lifetime. Take good care of them. Like I said, I'm sorry I let that one piece get rusted on this, like the butt pad. I don't take it out to shoot much anymore. I've still got quite a bit of corrosive ammo, which is like the Czechoslovakian silver tip, the 145 grain. It's okay to shoot, but you just got to make sure you clean the bore and any other of the parts of the action that the fouling gets on, because it will rust it up in a heartbeat. There's still variations of the Mosin in service, I think in Ukraine, on both sides of that conflict, as sniper weapons perhaps, in addition to the professional made semi-automatic sniper weapons. I think Ukraine's going to more of a NATO standard as far as their weaponry goes, but they're not turning down any captured Russian gear as long as it's not complete and other crap. So that's where that goes. This has been a pretty short video because there's just not a lot on this rifle aside from the base history of the Russian Mosin 44s. They were made kind of like a universal rifle, or a short rifle, towards the end of the war. The Russians didn't always issue scabbards to go with their bayonets, so finding a safe place to stow it was a pain in the butt for them usually. That's why they attached the bayonet to this permanently. The SKS followed a similar style. The Russian SKS used a knife style bayonet versus the spike. The Chinese, whenever they started making their T-53s, which was their version of this carbine, they had the spike bayonet. When they switched over to their maybe Type 56 version of the SKS, they kept the spike bayonet, which actually made a little bit more sense, because if you've already got it in production, just adapt it to use on your new weapon. The Russians kind of let that one slip through their fingers. But aside from that, it's a good rugged rifle. The bolt's a little complex, I will admit, like I said before, but the machining and finish on this Polish is absolutely beautiful. I just got to pull it and the rest of the collection out from time to time, wipe it down, a little oil, run a patch through the bore, and everything's fine and dandy on it. Well, folks, next time on this channel I'm going to be doing something on the civilian side of firearms, and tomorrow I'm going to be doing the Currywurst and Latkes episode of Boondock Gourmet. So I'll catch you tomorrow on the cooking, and it'll be Thursday or Friday on the gun rants. Take care, folks, and have fun.